We are live in 3, 2, 1.
Utah County residents are preparing sandbags to protect their homes from possible flooding after wildfires destroyed the mountainside.
People gathered to protest against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' position against Prop 2.
It's very strange to miss 58 people you never met.
Today marks 1 year since the deadly massacre at the Route 91 country concert in Las Vegas. Welcome to Newsline. It's Monday, October 1st. I'm Simeon Toronto.
And I'm Cristina Bolaños. Today marks 1 year since the shooting rampage in Las Vegas at a country music festival. Dozens of people were killed and hundreds more injured.
The city is hosting a number of events to remember the tragedy. John Lawrence reports.
The mood in Las Vegas has been somber, yet hopeful over the past few days.
Hard to believe it's been a year.
Survivors of the 2017 shooting at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival have been gathering.
Standing stronger and standing together.
They are mourning those lost and trying to recover from that tragic night 1 year ago.
I need that comfort, I need that support, I need the love, which I get from here.
58 people were killed in what is the deadliest mass shooting incident committed by one person in modern U.S. history.
May the Lord look upon you with kindness.
On Sunday, an interfaith service on hope, healing, and transformation.
When I got the call last October, all I could think about is this is my city. This is our city. They need me, and I'm going in there to help.
The marquees along the legendary Las Vegas Strip are set to go dark Monday night to honor the victims.
It's very strange to miss 58 people you never met. I think about who they were, what they did. It's healing for me.
I just needed to be with people that understood what happened and what was going on.
Police say the shooter was found dead in his hotel room of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. No motive was ever confirmed. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Barbara Ballard, the wife of Apostle M. Russell Ballard, passed away this morning in Salt Lake City. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced that Ballard passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by her family. She faced a long battle of Alzheimer's disease, among other health issues. She was 86 years old. Funeral services will be held on Saturday.
One man is dead after a fire broke out in his home late last night. At about 8 p.m. yesterday, the South Salt Lake Fire Department responded to a house fire. The fire burned down the home where 4 people lived. Police say one person in the home was taken to the hospital where they died. The other 3 people who live in the home have been accounted for, and the fire department says they were not inside the home at the time of the blaze. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
An RV goes up in flames early this morning, and it is caught on video. Take a look at this. The Ogden Fire Department responded to the fire at around 3 a.m. Fire crews found the RV completely engulfed in flames behind a commercial business. The fire was quickly extinguished before the adjacent structures sustained any damage. One person was injured and taken to the hospital. The fire department is still working to determine how it got started.
Heavy rains are on the way this week, so people in Woodland Hills and Elk Ridge are sandbagging to prevent mudslides. Flash flood warnings are in effect from Tuesday morning through late Tuesday night. Flooding is possible near burn scars and steep terrain, which leaves wildfire areas in the Utah County especially at risk. The people of Woodland Hills spend the weekend putting out more than 20,000 bags. They plan to put out more bags this afternoon and need help. Anyone who is available can just show up to the neighborhood at 4 p.m.
Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the country. That's according to the Center for Disease Control. Newsline reporter Sydney Storer joins us now. Sydney, you found out what some organizations are doing to help stop these numbers from rising.
Yeah, this weekend, Hope for Utah hosted a suicide prevention walk. I found out how the organization is changing its approach on suicide awareness and prevention.
Almost everyone walking here today lost a loved one by suicide. They share stories, memories, and even exchange hugs to commemorate those who have passed and those who survived.
Suicide prevention and awareness is a cause that's really important to me. My little sister attempted suicide a couple years ago.
Looking now, I realize how sad and how scary all of that was and how horrific it could have been for my family.
While there are warning signs indicating that someone is thinking of suicide, suicide isn't limited to a specific type of person. It can happen to anyone.
We were completely shocked when this happened and had no idea that he had been struggling for so long. He was the class clown, everyone loved him, and he hid behind his smile.
Hope for Utah brings awareness to schools on a national level by starting a Hope Squad, where a select group of students are trained to watch for and comfort at-risk students.
Just having that ability to recognize someone who's struggling. That's what we train our young people, to have that courage to talk to a friend.
They don't need to be ashamed. They don't need to be afraid. They're not alone. There's a huge community of people that want to be with them.
Somebody needs you here. You may not think about that in the moment.
And let people help you. There is no shame in having these thoughts. It's okay not to be okay.
If you or someone you know is in distress, reach out. There are resources in your community and people who want to help. You can call the suicide line at 1-800-273-8255. Back to you.
Thanks, Sydney. One person is hurt after a shooting at an Ogden mall. Police say Octavio Efrain Estrada Mendez had an altercation with another man outside the mall. Cops say Mendez shot the victim in the upper torso and drove off in his girlfriend's car. Ogden police spotted the truck, followed him, and arrested him. He was booked into jail on several charges.
3 bodies were found in a car that ran off the Harriman Highway and crashed into a ravine. As someone spotted the crashed car, police were called. Officers believe that the car had been sitting there for several hours before police were notified. Investigators are still trying to find the cause of the accident and identify the bodies inside the car. This weekend was a deadly one on Utah roads. There were multiple rollover car crashes. One woman was killed after being ejected from her car during a crash in Logan on Saturday. Later on Saturday, 1 person died and 7 were injured, 6 of them children, after a crash just south of Cedar City. And 1 person was killed and 4 others injured in a crash in Tooele County yesterday.
Protesters gather outside the offices of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this Saturday. Newsline reporter Berto Sanchez was there. Berto, what were the people protesting?
Some people are upset about the church's involvement in the ballot initiative Proposition 2. Nearly 100 people showed up for the peaceful protest on Saturday evening. The demonstrators marched to have their voices heard about the legalization of medical marijuana. Proposition 2 is on the ballot for the November election. Protesters voiced an outcry against the church, which is the largest organization against Proposition 2.
We should control what we're allowed to consume in our bodies, what we want to take to control our pain, our anxiety, whatever else it might be. You should be able to make the choice. And the doctor should have the option to give us these things. It's not even an option for them right now.
Protesters feel this is an important vote that can benefit many people in Utah, especially with the opioid crisis. Utah ranks 17th nationwide in opioid overdose deaths. November 6th is election day. It will be an important day for Utah. Make sure you are registered to vote so you can cast your ballot on the issue. Back to you.
Thanks, Berto.
Families filled the Linden Marina with light during the Thousand Lights Lantern Festival. Newsline reporter Chris Torres went to the festival this weekend. Chris, how was the turnout?
There was a great turnout. More than 1,800 people arrived for the event. You've never seen the Linden Marina so beautiful, like when it's full of paper lanterns. Participants push their lanterns into the water after decorating them with drawings, names of relatives, or even special wishes. One young man told me he made a wish to find the love of his life. And others wanted to remember their family members that had passed away.
So I have lost a lot of our family. My family dropping like flies. So I'm just saying goodbye to them tonight. Mom, my auntie, my sis, my brother, just my whole family.
Show them what you colored. Show them what you colored. And then he has more. Many families had their kids participate in decorating lanterns, and of course the beautiful scene was the perfect atmosphere for romantic couples, young and old. And how did they get the lanterns out of the water? Well, after everyone left, they threw a buoy line into the marina and pulled them to shore. That 2-hour cleanup, they did it all, of course, in the dark. Back to you.
President Trump says it is historic news for our nation and the world.
North American leaders come to an agreement about trade. We'll tell you what it means for the economy and when it will take effect. Police officers are under investigation after one is captured on video kicking a teenager. We'll tell you where this took place and what the teen is doing to take action.
Students from across the country are speaking and singing out about gun violence. We'll tell you how to hear their musical protest.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
North America has a new trade agreement. The new treaty is called the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement. Canada signed on to an agreement with the U.S. and Mexico late last night. The deal allows greater U.S. access to Canada's dairy market and addresses Canadian concerns about the threat of U.S. auto tariffs. The agreement is expected to be submitted to Congress today.
Melania Trump is headed to Africa today. It's her first solo international trip as First Lady. She's expected to visit schools and hospitals in at least 4 countries. Aide says Mrs. Trump will be meeting with mothers and children as part of her Be Best campaign. Another goal is to help replicate working U.S. programs on healthcare in Ghana, Malawi, Kenya, and Egypt.
The Supreme Court begins its new term today. The court will work with only 8 judges since Anthony Kennedy has retired. President Trump hoped that nominee Brett Kavanaugh would be confirmed before the start of the term, but the Senate Judiciary Committee has delayed the vote until the FBI can investigate sexual assault allegations against Kavanaugh brought up by Christine Blasey Ford.
A police officer in Washington state is under investigation today after kicking a teenager. The officer was caught on video kicking the teen in the back after pepper spraying him and several other people who were involved in a fight. 4 teens in the 15-person fight have been arrested. The family of the teen who was kicked has hired an attorney.
It's not the Great Pumpkin, but this is right up his alley.
We'll take you to a pumpkin contest with gigantic gourds and show you the big winner.
Teachers gather this week at a local school in Springville for Education Camp. I'll tell you what Ed Camp is and its impact in Utah County coming up.
We've got rain clouds coming in. I'll tell you when and where next.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
A new album that will be released on Friday features students from across the country performing songs which speak out against gun violence.
Rick Demigella talked with 2 students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School who are featured on the album.
It was really therapeutic for us to just writing it, and I think the lyrics and the melody and everything just sort of came so naturally, like it all just flowed out of us.
In the days following the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, a pair of students began composing the song Shine.
A lot of the inspiration was just because Andrea and I really didn't know how to express ourselves and how to pour all of our emotions into something, because we saw all of our friends speaking out politically and doing all of these rallies and stuff, and we didn't really know how we fit into that because that's not really our thing.
Just 1 week after the shooting, the duo, along with their classmates, performed the song on CNN's Parkland Town Hall.
You're not gonna knock us down, we'll get back up again.
Shine is the lead-off track on a new album entitled Raise Your Voice, The Sound of Student Protest. The 11-song set features performances from students from across the U.S., with proceeds going to the Every Town for Gun Safety nonprofit.
I shouldn't feel afraid inside my school. We need change.
I just think it's such an incredible honor to even be included in the album.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is just like, wow, because while the song was also healing for us and got out our message, like, it's definitely also a huge part is like to honor, like, obviously the 17 that we lost. If it weren't for that song, I don't really know where I'd be with everything.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
The pilot of a plane that crashed into Utah Lake this weekend is okay. Take a look at this picture. The plane crashed and wound up upside down in Utah Lake. The Utah County Sheriff's Office say the pilot of the plane planned to land on an exposed part of the Utah Lake shoreline. But while descending, a gust of wind pushed the plane, causing one of the wheels to touch the water. The pilot could not recover from the gust and crash landed, flipping the plane upside down on the lake. The pilot sustained minor injuries.
Meadowbrook Elementary School in Springville hosted Ed Camp Utah this weekend. Newsline reporter Sarah Collins went to the event. Sarah, what is Ed Camp?
Ed Camp is a foundation that organizes events for educators around the country. On Saturday, teachers from all over Utah County participated. Ed Camp is a free event that started in 2010 and helps teachers have the ability to discuss their work with one another. Educators from around the county were invited and came prepared to meet with fellow teachers. Participants wrote down the topics they wanted to discuss and then split into classrooms to have conversations with other educators about their needs and concerns. Teachers discussed many topics from technology to current events. Sponsors around the state provided the materials needed for the event, as well as breakfast and lunch for the teachers to keep the event completely free. The school districts that attended came from Alpine, Provo, Nebo, and Juab districts. Ed Camp will be hosting a statewide event November 3rd with support from UCET. Back to you.
Thanks, Sarah.
There were giant gourds galore at Thanksgiving Point's Harvest Festival this weekend. Newsline reporter Taylor Hansen was at the event. Taylor, how long has this event been going on?
Simeon, this event has been held every fall for 14 years. A large crowd came out to the Harvest Festival to watch the giant pumpkin contest. Each year, pumpkin growers all over Utah County bring their pumpkins to the Harvest Festival with hopes that theirs will be the largest. Local pumpkin growers, like Ross Boehm, brought pumpkins that did not disappoint. Bowman has competed in the giant pumpkin contest every year since the first Harvest Festival. Ross says that growing pumpkins brings him joy and that he loves being a part of the Utah pumpkin growing community.
The pumpkin people are really fun bunch of people. They know how to have fun.
Bowman has come in third place 4 times, and this year he won first place for the largest gourd. His squash measured 375 inches and weighed 1,375 pounds. Local pumpkin growers are already getting excited for next year's big competition. Back to you, Simeon.
Thanks, Taylor.
Two people are dead after Typhoon Trami struck Japan over the weekend. 1 person is missing and 155 people were injured because of the storm. Train service was disrupted after a tree fell in the tracks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Looking at this map, we can see lots of things happening, but I want you to pay attention to the green happening here in Utah. The darker green means there will be more chances of rain, and the lighter green are slightly less chances of rain. But our forecast is showing rain this week, which is exciting and slightly, threatening because of the fires that have been happening. This rain will now add burn scars, so there's been a lot of prevention happening. Looking into our weather, though, for the highs, we have 82 degrees in Provo, 81 degrees in Provo, 82 degrees down in St. George, and up in Logan, 78 degrees, which is kind of interesting. A little warmer than last week, but not by much. Our lows, although, are 59 degrees in Provo, 64 degrees in St. George, which is similar to 64 degrees in Salt Lake City. In St. George, we are also looking at some rain, which is interesting. No more sunny St. George this week, and the lows in the high mid-50s. And in our northern forecast, we are looking at rain all week, and it's going to cool down with this rain, which I'm quite excited for.
I'm really excited.
I went up to Sundance last night, checked out those leaves. It is fall, people. We have come to see. It's beautiful, though.
It's so pretty up there. It definitely is. And the fall leaves aren't the only thing falling this season. It was a disappointing night for BYU football. A look at where they stand now and the major player not finishing the season. Plus, the King is back. Ready, but is he ready to be a Laker? How LeBron James matched up against the Denver Nuggets and the details into his LA debut.
Hey, Bobo. Do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
The rise, the shout, and then the fall. Number 20 BYU football watched their rankings drop at Husky Stadium Saturday night in a 35-7 loss against Washington. From the start, the Cougars were no match for the Huskies. Washington opening the first quarter, finding Aaron Fuller for a 14-yard gain, plus a horse collar tackle by Cougars' own Sione Takitaki. The Huskies rushed it in for a 5-yard touchdown. Moving to the second, 14-0, BYU sees a chance but loses it, giving the ball back to the Huskies. And a few plays later, touchdown Washington. After that, it was pretty much all downhill. Freshman Loponi Katoa had the only touchdown for the Cougars. He posted a career high of 7 receptions and 66 total yards. BYU takes on the state rival Utah State University Friday at home. And a big injury for BYU's offensive, Morone Laula Pa'atua says his 2018 season is over. The junior tight end announced on Twitter he has a torn ACL. He went down during the Cougars' first drive at Saturday's game. He tweeted, "It hurts so much more emotionally and mentally than it does physically, but I won't be returning to until the 2019 season." Laula Putatau missed last season with a lace frac injury. Seattle Seahawks Earl Thomas is adding insult to injury after flipping a not-so-friendly hand signal at last night's game against Arizona. The veteran safety could not out for the rest of the season with a lower leg fracture, but it's his departure from the field that's getting everyone's attention. Thomas sent the bird flying after being carted off to the locker room. It's still unclear if the middle finger mania was directed at the Seahawks sideline, but the gesture follows rumors that Thomas isn't happy with his current contract with the team. He has not made any comments about the event. And the King starts his new reign. LeBron James made his preseason debut as a LA Laker last night. The Lakers hosted the Denver Nuggets, and James didn't hesitate to get the ball rolling. James gets the pass up to the top and knocks down the three, making his first points as a Laker. Jumping to the second, James steps back on the wing and once again drains the three. But it's 62-52 Nuggets. The Lakers couldn't sink the win, losing 124-107. And it was Lakers' JaVale McGee who walked away with the team's highs. James has a chance to redeem himself tomorrow when they take on the Nuggets once again. And another LA sports team is making headlines. The Dodgers prepared to host the Colorado Rockies today at 2 p.m. in a playoff tiebreaker. And for the first time in MLB history, today brings not only one tiebreaker game, but two. The Brewers are currently facing off against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Score is 1-0. All four teams made the playoffs. This 163rd game simply decides who will face who. The losing teams will play one another to set the final playoff seeding. We'll be right back.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Thanks.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
What?
Taco Bell is bringing the heat, turning another one of its sauce packet flavors into tortilla chips. Limited edition Diablo tortilla chips are on shelves exclusively at participating 7-Eleven stores starting today. They will be sold there through Halloween. They will then be available at other convenience stores and grocery stores through November. The taste may be red hot, but the color of the chips is as black as the devil's heart itself, hence the name Diablo. That's your Newsline news for October 1st, 2018.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. I do not want to try one of those chips. They just sound hot.